A surprising WWE superstar was just released from her contract, so we'll see what's up there. We'll also check out what's going on with Damage CTRL, Sasha Banks, and much more. Starting things off with the big release that took place before Smackdown. McKenzie Mitchell took to Twitter to announce herself that she has been released from WWE. McKenzie has been the primary backstage voice of NXT for several years. Ever since being brought in during 2019, everyone thought that her role as a backstage interview and journalist would grow, but she was just suddenly released. A lot of superstars, including the likes of stars like Bayley and others, all commented on Mitchell's post, being absolutely heartbroken by the sudden release. Mitchell posted a very touching and emotional message for her WWE goodbye, saying that she was grateful for her time in the company, how she enjoyed moving across country for her dream job, and how she even met her husband, Vic Joseph, there as well. Of course, WWE has two big and well-known backstage journalists on the main roster with Kathy Kelly and Kayla Braxton, but it never hurts to have extra depth at any position. McKenzie Mitchell was the main backstage face and voice of NXT for several years. But it looks like WWE will have to find a new voice and face to handle the backstage scene for NXT. The December 1st edition of Smackdown once again shined a lot of light on the ongoing issues between Bayley and Damage CTRL. After Bianca Belair opened up the show, Damage CTRL quickly interrupted her. But the extremely big thing to notice here was that Bayley was nowhere to be found with the group when they came out to interrupt Bianca Belair. Instead, it was just Io Sky, Kairi Sane, Asuka, and Dakota Kai leading the way on the microphone. Charlotte Flair and Shotzi eventually came out to provide some reinforcements for Bianca Belair, and Damage CTRL ended up retreating from the ring in embarrassment. It definitely seemed like they were missing the leadership of Bayley. We then saw a backstage segment between Bayley and the rest of Damage CTRL that definitely makes it obvious that the entire group is experiencing nothing but miscommunication right now. Io Sky saw Bayley backstage and immediately questioned Bayley on why she wasn't out there with them on SmackDown, basically implying that they wanted her out there, but Bayley was a no-show. Bayley responded that no one told her that they were going out there, so she was completely left out of the loop and uninformed. So that's why she wasn't out there with them at the start of the show. Dakota Kai tells Bayley that Kairi has a match with Bianca Belair later in the show, and how Kairi was really looking forward to hearing some advice from Bayley on facing Bianca, since Bayley has had so many matches against her. But despite what Dakota Kai said, it seemed like Kairi Sane didn't really have much interest in getting any sort of advice or help from Bayley. So again, just massive disconnection there. And then we get to the moments before the match where Damage CTRL was getting ready to go out for Kairi's match. We see the entire group all active and engaged with each other, but Bayley is off to distract far right with her hands in her pockets, keeping to herself, which is very different from the usual version of Bayley that we see. Dakota Kai even tells Bayley that she doesn't seem like herself. But that's when Io Sky jumps in and tells Bayley to stay in the back tonight. Bayley didn't really fight it and listen to Io, but when trouble unfolded at ringside and Kairi needed some help, Bayley appeared out of nowhere to try and distract Bianca Belair to assist Kairi in the win. Bayley's distraction was successful, but instead of Kairi capitalizing on it right away, she instead tried to be a bit slow with her process and take her time, which eventually led towards Bianca Belair taking back control of the match and defeating Kairi. And even though Bayley didn't do anything wrong, it still wasn't the outcome that they were looking for since Kairi lost. So it looks ultimately bad for Bayley and falls back into her lap. And Bayley was already not in a favorite situation with Io Sky, and that hole just got dug deeper after Bayley disobeyed Io's command only to cost Kairi the win. So the water continues to get deeper for Bayley and all of her Damage CTRL issues. She was the one who got pinned at War Games, and now even little situations like these are all going against her. So it's all stacking up and really feeling like the group is growing extremely sick and tired of her. The only one that still appears to have some sort of friendly feelings towards Bayley is Dakota Kai. while Io, Kairi, and Asuka appear to be completely out on Bayley. Dakota Kai is the only one that seems like she could be neutral at times between both sides. But then again, who's to say that Dakota Kai is being honest? Maybe she's being fully on board with the idea of getting rid of Bayley, but just appearing to be cool with her. We can never know for sure. We've seen lots of backstabbing friends in the history of WWE, so we can never rule out the option and possibility that Dakota could be playing Bayley as well. And if Damage CTRL is about to get rid of Bayley, it looks like the December 1st edition of Smackdown also gave us some foreshadowing about what we could expect to see as far as the leadership of the group goes for when Bayley is no longer involved. Telling by the December 1st edition of Smackdown, it appears that Dakota Kai will serve as the main mouthpiece and manager-like role for the group, while the actual shot caller and leader would be Io Sky, since she is the champion after all. We saw both hints of that with Dakota Kai speaking for the group during the opening segment, and the other moment of Io sternly commanding Bayley to stay in the back. So if Bayley really is out of the group, the leadership roles and duties very well may be split amongst Dakota Kai and Io Sky, the two remaining original members of Damage CTRL. Another little intriguing idea and theory that's been fueled by social media is the idea of Sasha Banks returning to be at Bayley's aid. We talked about this idea a bit before Survivor Series, when Bayley posted a throwback picture with Sasha Banks, along with the caption that said, "She always had a plan." We didn't really think much of it back then, but both Bayley and Mercedes have been continuing to post some cryptic teasers that definitely have everyone talking. Mercedes recently took to her social media to officially reveal that she's cleared to train in the ring again and get physical for the first time since her broken ankle injury took place. Bayley even responded to Mercedes' new training video with her own caption saying that the greatest is yet to come. Fans also noticed that Mercedes took to her Instagram story to share pictures from earlier in the year when she faced Kairi Sane, Kairi now obviously being in WWE. So there's lots of cryptic messages going on there that has fans wondering if a Sasha Banks return could be a possibility after all. Something along the lines of Sasha Banks coming to Bayley's aid against Damage CTRL. That's being so vicious to Bayley and kicking her out would be intense. That would be a big return story for Sasha Banks and a big potential babyface turn for Bayley. Everyone knows that Sasha and Bayley carried the women's tag team division during the pandemic era of WWE. So to have the opportunity to see them reunite, especially when nobody thought we'd ever see Sasha Banks return to WWE, would be quite the big moment for sure. A lot of fans still think that Sasha Banks' return will never happen given the unknown events of the 2022 walkout. But then again, we just saw CM Punk back in the WWE ring after nearly a decade-long battle with the company. So it is true, you can never say never. It's no secret that Bayley and Mercedes want to work with each other again. We'll just have to wait and see if that reunion will happen in a WWE ring after all. But regardless of what happens there with that reunion, Bayley will still have to climb herself out of this hole she's in with Damage CTRL before it gets too late. A lot of fans feel like WWE is gearing up for a big return in Butch's story. Sheamus has been mysteriously gone since August. Ridge Holland has also left Butch's side. And now Butch has to find a new tag team partner to help him take on Pretty Deadly. And fans think that that could be setting up Sheamus's return. The Brawling Brutes have been falling apart in Sheamus's absence, so maybe this is where he could come back in and try to reunite the trio. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.